As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study Exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Good evening, friends of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here today. It's a special day because we are going back into how we had fun at the Annual Acountants Conference, and today being Thursday, the second day in November 2023. You see how time flies. We have just 2 months to the end of the year. So I greet you, my dear colleagues. I greet the friends of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. It is a great pleasure to be here today to welcome you to another edition of ICAN on Air. My name is Fumi Olani, and we're doing something special today. It's called the special edition on the 53rd Annual Accountants Conference. This is the part 3 of the edition. So we're bringing it live for you to understand how much involvement we are with the economy, we have with government, we have with private sector. And this is the time where we have to see what happened during the Annual Accountants Conference, and we can align with what Nigeria will be in the next few days and, the few years to come with the new government. So I'll say welcome again. And before we go on a break, I'd like to make certain announcements because we have a lot of videos, a lot of pictures coming your way very soon. And I have a few announcements to make. The first will be the 72nd induction ceremony, and it's happening 4th of December 2023, and all inductees are required to be there at 8 a.m. prompt. We are very prompt with the Institute. Everything about us is urgency, accuracy, and you have to be timely in everything that you do. The venue is ICAN Center, Plot 12, Kofo Kasumo Street, Lakeview Estate, Phase 1, Amuwo, Odofin, Lagos. So please, the induction fee is 121,000 naira. So quickly register and get yourself with the induction team. And you know what it means to be inducted. You're going to be part and parcel of what happens in ICAN. You can be a full-fledged accountant. You can then call yourself a chartered accountant. So the second announcement is the 22nd Conferment Fellowship Status Ceremony. That is scheduled to come your way very soon. So you need to also reach out to the Institute if you want to be a part of the conferment, the fellowship conferment. And the rule is you need to belong to a district to be able to be part of the ceremony. So eligibility is you must be a member in practice. You must also be a member. There's a category of member in practice and member not in practice. So please put all of those details together and reach out to the Institute if you want to be a part of the fellowship conferment ceremony. And the venue is Landmark Event Center, Plot 3 and 4, Water Corporation, Oniru, Lagos. That's Victoria Island, Lagos. And the date is Saturday, is 16th December. At 11 a.m. You need to be prompt at the venue. Reach out to the Institute if you want to be a part of this fellowship conferment, and the physical participation is 160,000 naira. And so the other announcement we have is the MCPD training. and for consultancy, the sector for consultancy. It's happening November 8th and 9th of this month. And the fiscal participation is 30,000 naira. And we also have the faculty training program scheduled for November 6 to 14, 2023. And we have the hybrid, it's both physical and virtual participation. And the amount is 216,000 naira. The topic is international and digital taxation certification training. You sure know that the Institute has a lot for us to enjoy. So right now we'll go on a commercial break. And remember, this is the special edition on the 53rd Annual Accountant Conference Part 3. You're welcome again to the program, and we'll have you enjoy the session that happened during the Annual Accountants Conference. So we'll be right back after the break.
As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
To the glory of God and with your total support, I am the chairman of this conference. This is our 53rd conference. And indeed, we already give thanks to God and we look forward to a very, very exciting time. On behalf of Dr. Okwuosa, of all the members of the Governing Council of ICAN, and the members and management of the ICAN Secretariat, we warmly welcome you to this conference. Indeed, you are welcomed. Ahead of the introductory remarks, I wish to carry on from where the conference director stopped. And this is just to draw attention to the 2 booths that we had quickly built at the entrance of this facility. The intention of the 2 booths is for us to indeed get ourselves together and pay respect to our founding father, to the doing of the accountancy profession in Nigeria, a man without which we will not be here in this form. He is a clear icon, and we would please request that you visit those booths and above all, write your tribute. For the participants that are online, there's a link for them to also share their tribute. In the end, we will get together all the tributes and do the writing with it. Coming back to the conference and looking at statistics, as we are here right now, we have about 8,000 delegates that have registered for this conference. We need to interrogate the reason for the number. And I think that is, when we do that, we'll understand what ICAN is about. ICAN is a global brand. And this is a brand that we must do all that is within our powers to maintain and, at the minimum, hand it over to the next generation the way we got it. Otherwise, we have a duty to make sure that ICAN continues to be on the rise. Why is it that year on year, the number of delegates that attend this conference continues to rise? It's quite simple. Because practical solutions to the problems that the private and public sectors face, they are hatched here. And we look forward to getting more of that before we close. Coming to the 53rd AAC, which is this particular AAC, the two benefits that we seek to get, which will not be very different from the ones before now. A, the technical one, which I spoke to. Coming to the 53rd AAC, which is this particular AAC, the two benefits that we seek to get, which will not be very different from the ones before now. A, the technical one, which I spoke to, which is getting down to solutions, practical solutions that will help all of us to repair and to reposition Nigeria. Back in January or February, when the Council of the Institute approved the theme, Nigeria, imperatives for what? Inclusive development. At that time, it was well known to all of us that we had gotten to a point where we needed to settle down and come up with solutions that work. Good news, when you fast forward, is that the government of the day has taken some bold steps in certain key areas. You know about the fuel subsidy, you know about the FX and other matters. But what this conference will do, will be to evaluate practicable solutions that will help the country further to actualize the dreams, hopes of Nigerians. Because what we are looking for is a Nigeria that works for all Nigerians. Besides the technical aspect, of course, there will be events that will be private to ICAN, where we will or are taking steps to consolidate our relationship with other PAOs. There will be activities that will help delegates to build in exercises into their daily life. And there will be opportunities for you to engage with one another, build upon your businesses, share knowledge, and in the end, also relax. So when you look at it, quite frankly, you see that the 53rd AAC is indeed a complete package, or isn't it? All right. Now, we are close to 8,000, right? We have many activities to participate in. We have the Annual Accountants Committee, comprising of your colleagues who are trying their best to ensure that this conference is a memorable one. No slippage is anticipated, but I will apologize upfront for any difficulty or for any delays or for any embarrassment you may face or suffer in the course of the next 3 days. And of course, as you comport yourself in that manner, the IFAC president is here. I think we will also, in a way, be demonstrating that we live the values of IFAC and of chartered accountants, because we are required to behave in a professional and ethical way at all times. On that note, I will just say to ourselves, up ICAN, up Nigeria, and thank you all.
Let me equally appreciate your wisdom and nobility in the choice of topic, inclusive development, especially for a body whose membership, the qualification makes you included, not only Nigeria, but everywhere around the globe. So for you to set a team to consider those at the other end of the spectrum, those hardworking men and women in all our 36 states who, despite putting in their best of effort, cannot make ends meet. Those young men and women who desire life, much like we desire it, the good things of life, but who maybe the financial structure, accounting practices, the mortgage system, the credit market does not enable them, despite, again, their own effort. Or those who, at the lowest of that spectrum, who even feel angry at society, where they feel social contract between them and society is broken down. So we must appreciate ICAN for well, I don't think you blame a politician for respecting INEC, but we must appreciate ICAN, particularly as we are told that this is the largest gathering so far. I lived in Lagos in the 1990s, and crossing Apombon Bridge back to and back from work is a nightmare, because there are area boys then who will knock on doors of vehicles, and even for a pregnant woman, Lord save her, because nobody will come out of his car to save it. So we have seen a society then in decline. But in 1999, a very bold governor was elected in Lagos State. He saw the humanity in those young boys. Young boys and girls, he included them. And Lagos was more prosperous, more peaceful, as Waju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Little did we know that what we saw in Lagos will pop up in different places. So a conference to be devoted with a theme of achieving inclusivity is not even a luxury. As many of us who might have experienced that episode know, without solving that problem, maybe many people cannot live in Lagos today. So it's not a choice, but yet your nobility must be appreciated. Macroeconomic measures have been taken to help us to fund on a sustainable way the opportunities that will ensure that everyone is included. And the structure of our economy, different from many other countries, we have a strong absorptive capacity. All across our country are hard-working men and women who are looking for a break. Financial inclusion, loans, they are not lazy. The Ijo fishing communities, they are not lazy. Their grounds have been taken over by weed. The freshwater bodies have disappeared. The same thing in Ilaje communities. The same thing in Taraba. The same thing in Borno State. Fishing, equally in the farms, are hardworking men and women whose yield they are recording are lower than what is globally the averages. So with support, they can do better and help create a more inclusive society, equally in the pastoral communities. So we believe this team, and I hope we will have more to discuss about this topic, because it's central to the agenda of renewed hope agenda of this administration. It's central to the long agenda 2050 of the country and the development plan 2021-2025, and we believe, as I invited the president of ICAN, those are even materials that can enrich the discussion on this topic. And with that, having said that, and without preempting the president of the country, who I believe will speak about all the measures that are being taken, I congratulate you and thank you for this noble undertaking.
I want to congratulate you all on this occasion of the 53rd Annual Accountants Conference, holding here in Abuja. And I want to also appreciate you so much because I'm representing an office that is having over 95% of its workforce as accountants. Just like the Imperial Majesty said, that this occasion housed so many generals, in which I'm one of them, to the glory of God. I feel greatly honored to stand before you today at the 53rd Annual Accountants Conference of this Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. The theme of this conference, Nigeria Imperatives for Inclusive Development, underscores the critical role that each of us as custodians of financial integrity and prosperity has to play in shaping the future of our great nation, Nigeria. Inclusive development is a commitment to leave no one behind, to ensure that the fruits of progress are shared by all, irrespective of their background or circumstance. As financial custodians and managers, we hold a unique responsibility in driving the imperative forward. We must then see accounting as being more than numbers on a balance sheet, but as a tool for measuring the heartbeat of a nation that, if wielded with integrity and purpose, can help in growing an environment where no one is left alone. Keys to inclusive development are transparency. Transparency builds trust. Another key is accountability, which is the twin sister of the first. Also, financial inclusiveness of Nigerians that encourage the unbankable to become bankable is very appropriate. This will aid greater access to financial services, especially among women who have been found to be contributing greatly to the GDP of our country through micro, small, and medium enterprises that cascade down to inclusive development. Furthermore, fiscal policies must be designed with inclusiveness in mind. They should address the unique needs of marginalized communities, provide opportunities for economic empowerment, and promote sustainable growth that benefits all. Continuous professional training and lifelong learning must also be upheld to achieve this development. As professional accountants, to be able to deliver, continue to increase our competencies and skills. We must also recognize the transformative power of technology. Embracing innovative financial technologies can increase accessibility, reduce disparities, and empower individuals and businesses to participate fully in the economy. Finally, I wish you a most successful annual conference and urge every participant to engage actively to be able to take advantage of the capacity-enhancing programs and networking with professionals that are here present. We have them all from both within the country and outside the country. This is a great and unique opportunity for us to learn from one another. And I want to wish you the very best stay around in Abuja and wish you a very impactful conference. Thank you so much.
Tailor-made for us, talking about diversity, talking about equity, talking about inclusiveness. Diversity. We were only 500 in King's College when I was admitted as a student. But we had students from every state of the Federation. In my class, we were only 60. And yet, all the then 19 states were represented equally. From my state, from Borno, we had Damchida, Tata, Zachary Kodo, and my humble self, out of a population of just 60. And it was like this from all the states of the Federation. So we came from diverse backgrounds. And that has molded my values in life. I say proudly that it's the best thing that has happened to me in life. I travel very frequently. When I come across Nigerians abroad, the first question they ask me is, where are you from? And I tell them proudly, I am a Nigerian. They will ask again, where in Nigeria are you from? I'll repeat again, I am a Nigerian. I find it difficult saying that I'm from either the north or the east or the west or the south. I simply see myself as a Nigerian. For us in King's College, the geography of where you come from is immaterial. I'm simply a Nigerian. I'm a northerner only by the accident of birth, by ascription. I'm a southerner by achievement. All the relationships that are forged, friendship that are forged. I'm a Muslim. I attend service at the church of another very prominent King's College boy that is on this panel. His name is Pastor Itwa Igodalo. And I keep telling him that we've just agreed now that on Sunday, not only will I attend service at Trinity House, but I'll be the one who will collect tithe. You see, King's College is old. Most of the structures are more than 100 years old. So we need a lot of money to put it right. And the pastor has graciously agreed that I can collect tithe on Sunday. Now, talking about equity, again, King's College. See, what matters, what counts? Your brains, how hard you work. We had 7 Equemirs in King's College. We also had the Shagaris. There were 2 Igodalos, Itua and Aswe. The Aidas, the Dafinones. But we also had students whose parents were cleaners and cooks and messengers, and you wouldn't know. In the classrooms, in the hostels, we were one. I always tell the story of a student, a friend of mine who was admitted to King's College from an obscure primary school in Kwara.
Let me recognize especially the representative of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, my own brother and friend, the Minister of Power, Mr. Adilabu. Let me equally recognize my own minister, the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Alhaji Bagudu, His Excellency. And also let me recognize my own president, our own president, the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. And the president of IFAC, I want to thank you very much, Ma, for coming all the way to join us at this year's conference. Kábíyèsí, 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 kádé ó pẹ́ lórí, kí bàtà ó pẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀, kẹ́ṣin ọba kó jókòó pẹ́. We are happy to have you with us this afternoon. We thank you very much for coming and spending quality time with us. Let me equally congratulate all members of ICAN. I am proud to be an ICAN member. It's not easy to be an FCA, and I thank God I am one of you. Having said that, I bring you greetings from the National Assembly. From the Senate President would have loved to be here, but as at the time that the opening ceremony is going on, the Senate is still in session. But I have no choice. I have to be here because this is the only institute I belong to. And let me announce to you that in the current 10th Senate, we have 5 members of this current Senate as a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. And equally in the House of Reps. I have observed that this year's topic is very, very instructive. And that looking at the current situation of things, we can't have a better topic than we have today. And the 2 major economic issues that have been introduced by this current administration, which has to do with the unification of rates and the removal of subsidy, we, your representative, are fully in support. I make this bold confession because I chair the Senate Committee on Finance in the 9th Senate, and I currently chair the Senate Committee on Appropriation in the 10th Senate. While serving as the Chairman Finance Committee, I cannot imagine that I have to provide for a sum of 7 trillion naira to be paid out as subsidy in every financial year. The justification to this, I cannot but explain. But all I told is that we have to. If we don't put it, there will be strike, the economy will collapse, people will have to be. I said, no, something needs to be done. Because this is fund that is going to the hands of selected few that is not benefiting the generality of this country. And to that extent, we decided, they said, for once, this bold initiative must be supported, and the president has taken the bull by the horn. But all I can assure you, that every policy of the government that will support alleviating the poverty of our people will be supported by your National Assembly by the grace of God. Having said that also, let me bring it to our notice that the president of ICAN is doing a lot. He has made attempt, at least since assumption of office, to ensure the amendment of the ICAN Act of 1965. That is over 53 years down the line. Our acts have not been amended. And he has taken the bull by the horn. And we are supporting him. And I want to assure you that as soon as we receive that bill in the Senate, which I am to lead by the next conference, we shall have a new act that is legalizing the accounting profession of ICAN by the special grace of God. On this note, let me join millions of accountants all over the world in congratulating ICAN at this 53rd Annual Accounting Conference. And let me say this, ICAN President, it is good you bring us a special guest of honor, but I'm a member, and I'm supposed to be here for the next 5 days to join you in celebrating ICAN at this 53rd Annual Accounting Conference. So once again, I wish you a very successful conference, and I can assure you that from time to time I will breathe in and breathe out. Thank you, and God bless you.
Yeah, good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon, sir.
It's been a pleasure having you as a guest in the WAHE-DC session on the ongoing 53rd Annual Accountant Conference. We talked about coaching and mentoring, particularly for young accountants. What's your take majorly on this coaching and mentoring issue?
So thank you for having me. It's been a great honor talking to young accountants at the ICAN Conference. I mean, as somebody who worked in two of the world's biggest accounting firms, I find it a great privilege. I think that we're in a generation where there is an explosion or an can call it an explosion or overemphasis on mentorship and coaching. Is a good thing because it provides guidance, early on guidance to young people, but it also has its negative side if not properly managed. Because as I said on stage, what is going on now is that there is a huge mentorship overload that is happening, and it can lead to confusion, career confusion by young people. So a lot of young people, without knowing it, are leaving the path of others. They are leaving the path of their mentors as against their own path, right? So I have a mentor who is an accountant, and he then guides me, or he talks to me from the angle of accounting, which is just his own narrow scope. But I don't want to be an accountant. I want to be a strategist, or I want to be a finance person, or I want to be a tax person, right? So it is very critical that we need to begin to make young people first understand what mentorship should be like, what coaching should be like, what they should be expecting from those mentors, and also making mentors understand how best to guide young people without leading them astray.
Okay. So what would your advice now be to the young professionals that are now seeking mentorship and coaching? What would your advice be to them?
So my advice to them is that as early on as you are, you need to first expose yourself a lot to knowledge bank, expand your knowledge bank so much that by the time you are 21, you should have a fair idea of what you want to be, where you want to head towards. So this doesn't mean that you're going to have it all figured out, but you are not completely clueless. And how do you do this? You need to read a lot of books. If you do not like reading books, you need to spend a lot of time following very quality handles on social media, not just the blogs and all these things. You need to spend a lot of time watching documentaries. Netflix has a lot of them, not just movies, so that you have an idea what you will be knowing from your reactions, from the things you are gravitating towards, where you really want to be in the long term. Now, the gaps that are left is what you now look for mentors to plug. Not that you just wake up and say, I need a mentor. I'm looking for a mentor because it is a trending thing. Otherwise you're going to find yourself in a situation where you start living the journey of those mentors instead of living your own journey. When I was younger, everybody wanted me to be an accountant. Everybody wanted me to be, in fact, I started off in a regulatory environment. I did not want to be that. And I had to start my career over again twice, because I was focused on where I was going to. Everybody around me thought I was a mad person. But here I am today, and I'm doing fine, and I'm not doing badly than those who, chose the other path.
Okay. And lastly, so you see the Nigerian youth or youth generally complaining about the adults, complaining about those who are there saying this they are doing, they could better do it better and all of that. So do you think these youths can actually do it better, or they have something that it takes for them to be there and do it in a better way?
So I always say that what I say about complainants is that if you are not a tree, if you do not like a situation, you change it. Otherwise, you are going to be there 20 years' time, you still be complaining, right? But then, with regards to if you can do it better than more experienced people, the Chinese will say that it's only a fool that waits to learn from his own experience rather than learning from the experience of others. There's something that comes with experience that you just cannot buy. There's a significant value that comes from experience. Young people also have their own strengths. I'm a strategy professional, and I know that strategy gets stimulated by freshness. So if young people are allowed to thrive in their thoughts, it will bring in fresh perspectives that can then even enrich the wisdom of the old. So I think it's a case of balance. Young people should not get over themselves thinking they are better than the older ones, while the older ones should not also try to stampede young people. Because again, experience can be a great obstacle to innovation. This is how we've always done it. This is how we've always done it. And then you are not allowing new thoughts. So that balance needs to happen, especially in this country.
Thank you very much for being part of the show.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, young.
I've enjoyed this so far. This is my first time coming since I got inducted. So I've enjoyed it. All the extracurricular activities, the plenary session has been very informative. Thank you.
I enjoy my time here. Although the last time I came, it was about 10 years ago. The only area that I think we need to improve upon is during the registration. I think let's see how we can automate it and make it more easy for everybody. My company will pay group, and when we got here, we were asked to wait for almost 2 hours. So the benefit of paying as a group was not achieved. But generally, I think I give kudos to ICAN and hope that next year we'll be able to get better. Let's continue getting better every year. Thank you.
The conference was educative, looking more to next year. Thank you.
This is the first time attending this conference after 5 years of membership. And I'm indeed impressed by the preparation and the conference. The quality of information provided is worth it. I wish ICAN the best. And I pray that we all be enabled to put to practice what we have learnt. My only suggestion is that ICAN should do more to ensure that the members in practice, members who are working, get good pay and good standing. They should be make themselves more available for their members so that we don't just have a certificate, but we have a good life to show for what we have.
I'm coming to attend a conference from ACATS, Akwa Ibom State. I'm the secretary of ICAN ACATS and District Society. This year's conference is very, very exciting because I've noticed a lot of improvements, introduction of new sessions like the Young Accountants sessions, the Happy Hour with the President and other sessions. Very exciting, and ICAN choice of their theme during conferences remains top-notch. I commend ICAN and I'm proud to be a part of ICAN.
The program has been wonderful, awesome, perfect in all its ramifications. I want to thank the management of this program and I say kudos to them.
Yes, my thought about this conference is that for every year we have progress, and I am seeing a very remarkable progress about the conference this year based on the attendance, even though so many persons complained about the cost of the conference, but I can see that despite the complaint, a number of persons came out for the conference, even much more than what we had last year. I think we are recording over 8,000 participants this year as against what we had last year. So for me, it's a very good attendance, and the topic was quite very rich and very impactful, especially as it has to do with our country today. We are looking forward to a better Nigeria and an all-inclusive government, and I think that is what we have put together for this conference. And I'm sure if at the end of the day the communique is sent out and accepted by the government, it will go a long way to strengthen what we have in Nigeria.